This is Local Knowledge with Chessy Ricca, filming part 2 of the history of the Jupiter-Indiantown grade here in Jupiter Farms. I'm actually out here at Pine Glade, and I came out here because there's a controlled burn going on and I wanted to check it out. I wanted to focus today on part 2 of the history of the Jupiter-Indiantown grade because we missed the entire western portion of the 16-mile trail. Today we're going to take a drive up to Indiantown and check out where the road ends.
Don't you get mad at me.
Hold on. How's that? So this is the western portion of the Jupiter-Indiantown grade, and this connects, actually interestingly, to Canner Highway, which we talked about in our part 1 video, was called the Stewart-Annie Road or the Annie Stewart Road. It runs alongside the south end of the St. Lucie Canal. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and guess that this is the canal that was dredged to help build this western portion of the Jupiter-Indiantown grade. This is all cane, sugar cane. We made it to the other side of Canner. Okay, so let's check this out. So it would have cut through here and come to this point, which is where that old ferry crossing was. I can't believe I've never been here before. I'm kind of embarrassed, actually. This is so cool. Another interesting thing, no motorized vehicles. Very nice. We're gonna walk through this gate here. This is where that canal comes to an end. Ooh, fish. So we're actually gonna be walking this way along the trail. Check this out. This is the western portion of the Jupiter-Indiantown grade here in Indiantown, Florida. This is where the western portion of the Jupiter-Indiantown grade ended here in Indiantown, and it ended at the St. Lucie Canal where the ferry was, so you had to hand pull yourself across that ferry across the canal to meet the north side of the canal. So we're actually going to keep walking. So cool. History, bitches.
One of the things I wanted to do was look at these 1940s aerials of northern Palm Beach County so we can get a better view of what the old grade looked like. And this one, I love this image because it shows the Loxahatchee here crossing underneath the Indiantown Road. This is present-day Riverbend Park. And you can see just barely here the old Indiantown Road that existed before that redirection there. And the road continues on northwest, and we walked here a little bit. This is literally just the Jupiter Farms version of this road. This is kind of like the middle section of the grade. We exit Jupiter Farms here and we enter present-day Hungryland. Obviously you can see in this area here there's no canals dug yet, so this is pre-canals in Hungryland. And the canal would be over here present day. It would be somewhere over here and it would cut through. This trail is still in there. I walked it a couple weeks ago and I plan on doing an episode on these old logging trails because this was a logging trail. You can see here this trail was also used by hunters. You can probably guess that they would go off trail and find some pretty cool hunting spots. I can't say that that's all hunting, but a lot of people hunted this road. This is lumbered. So you can see here they took out all the trees here and they would have hauled them out on this road. And that's what this road was for. They took all the lumber down here and guess what? Look where it goes. Corbett. So this is Eastern Seaboard Railroad that became parallel to the B line today. The B line would be on the inside or east side of it. But this was the old logging road. So we're going to cover that in another episode because I love it. So again, 1940s aerial. This is the road that leads into Indiantown, and this is an example of some of the logging. So again, up here you can see this logging. And if you continue on, you start to enter Indiantown. So we're just now getting towards the final stretch of this 16-mile road here. You can see these little paths that come off this road. Were they good hunting spots? Were they picnic spots? You know, I don't know. Look at this one. It goes all the way around these little islands here. One thing I noticed on this map I thought was really interesting were these old pencil circles that somebody drew on. I don't know what they mark. Maybe like road access. I have no idea. So this is the road entering Indiantown, and in this corner you could just barely see this canal here, and that's where I was standing, and this is where I entered. This one shows some pretty good detail that I couldn't get in my other maps. Oh, look at that, it loaded. Okay, this is where I filmed part 2 of the video. So this is the St. Lucie Canal here. This is what became Canner Road. Back then it was probably the Stuart Annie Road, as we discussed. So I parked right here. And I noticed, I pointed out in the video, the canal on our west side. Here's the canal running west of that road. And we drove all the way down this road to where that canal turned. And where that canal turns is where I stood right here and crossed over. And then we walked a little bit down here. So this is the northern portion of that trail. And you can see here there would be a ferry and the road continues across the St. Lucie Canal. I think this road was really important for many reasons other than lumber and hunting and trade. I think this road was a lot older than we think. And it hugs this plateau here. I briefly talked about Indiantown being a plateau. Here's Indiantown. This is a map I made. It's pretty bad. I'm so sorry. But this is a map I made. And you can just barely see the Jupiter-Indiantown grade cutting through this. But I want to point out here, the blue is lowland and the orange, the darker orange is higher. So we go from the beginning of the Indiantown grade on an easterly course where it's kind of low and wet, you know, and watery and holy. And then as you push west, northwest, you enter a high ground. And then eventually you get to Indiantown here, and it's just this plateau. It's just this incredibly high ground. And on the east side of it, you have this swamp here. And historically, this swamp was a lot bigger. There was the Barley Barber swamp over here. But this Jupiter-Indiantown road here, let's see if I can re-find it. It cuts through this swamp. And it cuts through this inside of the plateau here. So I can only imagine how important this road was like 100 years ago when you were trying to avoid the swampiness on the east and then get to high ground to avoid the water. I hope you enjoy this and stay tuned for Rude, because that's next. Rude. rude.
There's a bird down there. Oh, I wonder what kind of bird that is. If this is the type of content that you enjoy seeing and you want to learn more about Palm Beach County, Martin County, and Florida's southeast coast, feel free to leave a comment with any suggestions or recommendations or things you're curious about that you want to learn more. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. What do you think of that controlled burn though?